she'll start hitting the ball harder. So she's still young. Let's not forget that. She's still very young and many more years to develop. And I think she's too good a player not to make it into the top 10.
Alex Eala, that's been the talk, which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from...
Nobody saw it coming. That is the honest truth. When Alex Eala's rankings started slipping, when the results were not going the way everyone hoped, the doubters got loud. The kind of loud that fills comment sections and gets clipped into highlight reels of someone's downfall. People were ready to write the chapter. Ready to call it a cautionary tale about potential that never quite became greatness. And then Greg Rusedski opened his mouth and changed the entire conversation. Not with a soft, diplomatic maybe. Not with the usual tennis pundit hedging where they say something that means everything and nothing at the same time. No, Rusedski went all in. He planted his flag. He looked at the cameras and essentially told every single person who had been counting Alex Eala out that they were making a serious mistake. And here is the thing about Greg Rusedski. This is not a man who builds careers on hot takes. He has been around professional tennis long enough to understand how unforgiving this sport truly is. He knows what it costs to compete at the top. He has felt the pressure personally. So when someone like him stands up and says a player is not just going to survive but is going to climb back into the top 10 of the WTA rankings before this season is done, you stop scrolling and you start paying attention. Because that is not a throwaway comment. That is a declaration built on observation, on understanding, and on genuine belief. So today we are going to unpack all of it. We are going to talk about what Rusedski actually said and why it matters so much. We are going to talk about what is happening with Eala's game right now and why the evidence is pointing in a direction that the doubters are not going to enjoy. We are going to talk about the people surrounding her, the fans who followed her to Italy just to stand in her corner, the greatest player men's tennis has ever produced who has taken a personal interest in her development, and we are going to talk about the kind of character it takes to carry the weight of an entire nation's dreams without cracking under the pressure. This is a story about a comeback. But more than that, it is a story about what happens when talent meets relentless work and refuses to give up. Let us get into it. When Rusedski broke down what he felt Eala needed to focus on, he was precise. He did not speak in vague motivational language. He identified two specific things: the serve and physical conditioning. Two areas. And the reason that matters is because those are not just any two areas. Those are the two things that separate a very good tennis player from a truly elite one at the highest level of the women's game. The serve is everything in modern tennis. It is your first weapon in every single point. When it is working the way it should, it is not just win you free points outright. It shapes every rally that follows. It puts your opponent in a position where they are already scrambling before the exchange has even properly started. And for a long time, Eala's serve was a vulnerability rather than a weapon. It was the thing opponents could target. The thing they could lean on when they needed to reset a match and find their footing. But something changed. Something that did not happen overnight but has been building quietly through months of deliberate, focused preparation. And Madrid is where the whole world got to see exactly what that preparation produced. Picture the scene. Alex Eala walking onto that court against Pavlyuchenkova. Now Pavlyuchenkova is not someone you take lightly. She is experienced, tactically sharp, the kind of player who has seen it all and knows how to dismantle opponents who are not fully locked in. And what happened? Eala did not just compete. She controlled. She dictated. She made Pavlyuchenkova look like she had no answer for what was being thrown at her. And when the match was done and Eala sat down for her post-match interview, she did not dance around the reason. She said it straight. The preparation break before Madrid had been spent working specifically on her serve. Every session, every repetition, every hour in practice funneled toward making that one part of her game into something the opposition could not simply absorb and neutralize. And on that day in Madrid, it paid off in a way that was impossible to miss. She was firing aces. She was hitting lines. She was forcing errors off the return. Pavlyuchenkova could not find a rhythm because Eala was not giving her the kind of slow, readable serve she could step into and attack. She was being met with pace and placement from the very first shot of every point. And once that rhythm locked in, once Eala found that groove, the match was settled. Not decided in the last game of the final set. Settled in the mind. That is what a great serve does. It does not just win points. It wins matches before they are even technically over because it removes hope from the other side of the net. And Rusedski saw all of that. He saw the Madrid performance and he connected it to everything he knows about player development and trajectory. He understood that what Eala showed in that match was not a fluke and was not a one-day peak. It was the visible result of a player who has been grinding in the right direction. That is why his prediction carries the weight it does. It is not built on hope. It is built on evidence. Now let us talk about the physical side because Rusedski flagged it specifically and it deserves its own conversation. Women's tennis at the top level is brutally physical. The long baseline exchanges, the lateral movement required to cover a modern court against opponents who are hitting harder and deeper than ever before, the ability to absorb a 3-set battle in the afternoon and come back the next morning ready to do it again. All of that demands a body that is genuinely conditioned for it. Eala has always had the talent. The shot making has never been in question. The instincts, the reading of the game, the ability to construct a point and find angles that other players simply do not see. All of that has always been there. But adding a foundation of real physical strength to all of those natural gifts is what allows a player to stop just competing with the best and start consistently beating them. And the work is happening. The sessions are going in. The strength is being built. The results are already showing in the way she moves on the court, in the way she recovers mid-rally, in the way she is staying composed deep into matches where the old version of her game might have started to fray at the edges. The physical transformation is not complete, but the direction is clear. And in tennis, direction matters more than current position because this sport rewards players who are still improving far more than it rewards players who have already peaked. Eala is still improving. That is the most important sentence in this entire conversation. But none of this happens in a vacuum. And one of the things that makes Eala's story genuinely compelling is not just what she is doing on the court. It is the world she has built around herself and the people who are pushing her forward every single day. Start with the fans. Because what the Filipino tennis community has done in rallying behind this young woman is something that goes beyond normal sports fandom. When Eala landed in Italy, there were fans waiting for her. Not a couple of people with phones hoping for a quick photograph. A real showing. People who had traveled significant distances to be there, to stand in a foreign airport. And make sure that the first thing Alex Eala felt when she arrived was that she was not alone. She acknowledged them. She thanked them. And you could see in that moment exactly what it meant. Because being an athlete who carries a nation's hope is beautiful and it is also heavy. There are days in every professional athlete's life when the weight of expectation presses down so hard that getting up and training feels impossible. And on those days, knowing that there are people on the other side of the world who rearrange their lives to stand in an airport just to cheer for you, that does something. It refills a tank that competition and pressure slowly drain. Those fans are not a footnote in Eala's story. They are part of the engine. And their numbers are not shrinking. They are growing. Every performance, every win, every moment of grace under pressure brings more people into that community. And all of that energy follows her to every tournament she enters. Then there is Novak Djokovic. And this is where the story gets genuinely remarkable because you do not just stumble into the orbit of the greatest player men's tennis has ever produced. You earn it. Djokovic has seen everything this sport can possibly offer. He has competed against and alongside the most talented players ever to pick up a racket. He understands greatness from the inside. He does not waste his time or his attention on players who are not worth it. And yet here he is, consistently, openly, genuinely in Alex Eala's corner. His support did not begin recently. He was vocal about her during the Australian Open and he has not let up since. He reportedly spent personal time doing an on-court session with her specifically to help lift her spirits and sharpen her game during a difficult stretch. He described her as impressive to watch on television but even more striking in person. Think about what that means coming from him. He called her someone he gets along with both on and off the court. Novak Djokovic choosing to invest his energy in a player, choosing to show up for them personally, choosing to speak about them with that level of warmth and admiration. That does not happen by accident. That happens because he sees something. He sees the work ethic, the competitive spirit, the character. And he wants to be part of whatever story is being written. And through all of it, through every bit of pressure and scrutiny and expectation that has been placed on her shoulders, Eala has handled herself with a composure that honestly deserves to be talked about more than it is. Becoming a symbol for an entire country is not a role that every athlete is built for. Having millions of people emotionally tied to your results, watching your every press conference, celebrating your wins and feeling your losses as their own. That kind of attention has a way of revealing character very quickly. Some players disappear into themselves when it gets that heavy. Some start performing for the cameras rather than competing for the win. And some carry it all with a kind of quiet, steady grace that makes you realize they were built for exactly this moment. Eala is in that last group. In defeat, she is composed. In victory, she stays grounded. With her fans, she is present and genuine and grateful in a way that you simply cannot manufacture over time. The pressure has not revealed cracks. It has revealed steel. And that matters enormously because tennis matches are won and lost in the mind just as much as they are won and lost with the racket. The player who can manage all of that noise and still walk onto a court and execute under pressure, that player is dangerous. That player is the one who breaks into top 10s and wins titles and makes people like Rusedski stand up in front of cameras and refuse to let anyone write them off. So where does all of this leave us? It leaves us watching one of the more compelling individual stories in women's tennis right now. A young woman with real talent, a sharpening weapon in her serve, a body she is making stronger every single week, a fan base that would follow her to the ends of the earth, the personal endorsement of the greatest to ever do it, and a character that gets harder under pressure rather than softer. Rusedski made his call. The top 10 before the season is out. And when you lay out everything we just walked through, when you look at the trajectory rather than just the current ranking, it does not sound like an ambitious prediction anymore. It sounds like the logical conclusion of a story that is still being written but is clearly heading somewhere remarkable. Alex Eala is not finished. She is not fading. She is building towards something. And the rest of the WTA is going to find that out one match at a time. Now we want to hear from you because this conversation does not end here. Do you believe Rusedski got it right? Can Eala genuinely break into the top 10 before the season closes out? Is the serve the defining weapon of her comeback, or is there another part of her game you think will matter even more? And if you have been following her since the beginning, if you are one of the fans who has been on this journey from the very start, we especially want your voice in the comments because nobody understands what this moment means better than you do. Drop everything you are thinking below. And if you are not subscribed yet, now is the time because this story is just getting started and you do not want to miss a single chapter of where it goes next.